Blessings to you and you and you and you. If you're watching a replay, thank you for choosing to watch and joining us. My name is Steinway Cash. I am the pastor of the Antioch Baptist Church. Why does that keep being high like that? I don't know why I keep doing it. I keep bringing it down every week, and it keep going back to the same spot. Why I do that? Anyway, blessing to you. Thank y'all for being on with us. Nevertheless, I'm so happy to have y'all with us on tonight. Do me a favor as you come in. I see you coming in. Hit the like button, hit the share button, let somebody know that we are on tonight. I consider it a blessing that you are with us and chose to be with us on tonight. Could have been doing anything else, but yet you chose to come and eat with us on tonight. And so we want you to be fed. No foolishness. Rid yourself of everything that can distract you from getting what God has for you. We want you to make sure that you are focused on the Word of God. For I eat best when I'm hungry. I eat best when I'm starved of everything else, and I need this Word. So remove all distractions. Get work off your mind for a minute. Get the bills off your mind for a minute. Get the issues off your mind for a minute. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. Send up some hearts. Matter of fact, while y'all watching, send some hearts now. And get what you got to get so you can get this word. Come on in the room. Jesus is our doctor. He writes all our prescriptions. He gives us all our medicine in the room. Good evening to everybody that's shouting us out, whatever platform you own. Let me shout you out. Good evening, Sister Black. Good evening, Sister Key. Good evening, Sister Shepherd. Good evening, Sister Garrett. Good evening, Sister Key. Good evening, Minister Black. Good evening, Deacon Staples. Thank y'all for being on and being faithful. It is good to have everybody with us on tonight. Welcome to Sundays and Not Enough Bible Study. Text ABC Mail 29700. That's ABC Mail 29700 to join our mailing list. Why is that still on right there? Let's cut that off. Lord have mercy. Text ABC Mail to 97000 to join our mailing list. I waited too late in life to have children. First fruit offering. We honor God with everything we own. We give him our first and our best. Good evening, Simone. We give him our first and our best. That's Proverbs 3:9. I encourage you to trust God with your best. I encourage you, don't give God your leftovers. Give him your best. If you give God your best, it shows you are prioritizing him. And when you prioritize him, I promise you he'll prioritize you. All right? Communion Sunday is this Sunday, this third Sunday. So let's make sure we are ready and prepared. Communion Sunday is this Sunday. And I want you to go and watch the replay of this last Sunday service, Favor in Your Feet. Go watch it. I promise you there's some nuggets in there. You go and dig from. Ladies and gentlemen, if growth is your responsibility in 2025, I am trying to grow in Jesus Christ. I'm trying to get better. And if growth is on your menu, if growth is on your agenda, ladies and gentlemen, you can't just grow on Sundays. You need more than Sundays. Ladies and gentlemen, Sundays are not enough. Thank y'all for being with us on tonight. For the hashtag is there, hashtag growth in Christ, hashtag same study, hashtag mind his business. Type in the chat, get some same study in your life. Get some same study in your life. Lord have mercy. If you're ready and you got a fire emoji, put that fire emoji in the chat if you don't mind. If you're ready and you're trying to grow, and you're trying to get something, we got folk watching on all different platforms. So whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching on any YouTube page, any Facebook page, Thank y'all for being on. When I say this, it is a delay. When I'm saying it, I'm looking at my screen, and y'all seeing it when I say it. It's two different things. So I'm gonna say it, and I feel like I'm gonna be left out there. I say put some fire emojis on the screen, and y'all joke put it on there 10 minutes later. It's because it's a delay. I had to remind myself of that. All right. All right, we're about to jump on another journey, probably the next 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. We'll see how long the Lord has us on this journey. If any time you want to give, what I'm thinking about, anytime you want to give, the Cash App is there. Look at my co-worker on tonight. Look at Misty. Thank you for being with us. Listen, give LaFi, or you can give through any of y'all we dial with. I'm grateful to all of y'all for being on whatever platform y'all tearing it up tonight, and I'm grateful for you. All right, that's how you give. Any time you desire to give, you can give that way. All right, y'all ready? All right, so for the next maybe 3 weeks, Lord, I don't know why I did that. Next 4 weeks, we'll be on Joshua 6, 1 through 5. I can't give you Joshua 6, 1 through 5 like I would like to. This is so nuanced. There's so many nuggets in it. I've never taught this for a Bible study. It's so much in it. You hear me talk about Joshua 6 a lot because there's so much in it. I believe that is really a scripture for those who are on the verge of getting what God, that you know there's something, but it seems like there's a wall in between you and your blessing. This is for us. This is for possessors. These next few weeks won't be for people who want it handed to them. It won't. These next few weeks will be for people who are trying to possess what God has. And even though you know you're happy with what God's giving you, you believe God has more for you. And so I want to encourage you on tonight and help you, but I can't teach Joshua 6 without telling you how they got there first. So we got to deal with Numbers 13. Now, I want you to understand something. Numbers 13 and Numbers 14, I got to read quite a bit, so I need you paying attention because I ain't going to be able to go back and break down every bit of this scripture. I'm going to give you the story tonight of how we got to this place, because Israel is getting ready to possess the promise, but the promise they're getting ready to possess is not theirs. The promise they're getting ready to possess is actually their parents. God promised their parents, but because the parents couldn't let go of their issues, God could not get them in the promised land. Let's deal with that tonight. Numbers 13 is where we'll go tonight. Then the Lord, God is on the verge of letting the Israel. That's why they call them the children of Israel, because it is really the children of the ones who had the promise given to them. But he's getting ready to give Israel the promise, and Israel is getting ready to get this promise. And he sends, the Lord spoke to Moses saying, send out for yourself men so they may spy out the land of Canaan, which I'm going to give the sons of Israel. You shall send out a man from each of their father's tribe, everyone a leader among them. Let me pause right here and tell you that you cannot expect what you are unwilling to inspect. If you will, you can't. I can tell what you expect based on how well you inspect it. If you don't inspect a good marriage, you can't expect a good marriage. If you won't inspect on how to be excellent, you won't walk in excellence. Too many of us are inspecting something and we're expecting something and not inspecting it. You got to inspect it. So Moses sent from the wilderness of Paran at the command of the Lord, and all of them men who were the heads of the sons of Israel. And these are the names of the men. We ain't going to all that. But Joshua called Hosea the sons of he named all the names. I don't want to do that right now. That's verse 16. When Moses sent them to spy the land of Canaan, he said to them, "Go up there unto Negev, and then go up unto the hill country. See what the land is like, whether the people who live in it are strong or weak, whether they are few or many." Too many people are lazy, and they don't want to inspect it, because inspection is more than just one thing. It's multiple things. He's giving details as to what to inspect. Go see what the land like, see what the people like, see how many people it is. How is the land in which they live? Is it good or bad? How are the cities in which they live? Are they like open camps or with fortifications? Are they open or they got walls? How is the land? Is it fat or lean? Are the trees in it or not? Make an effort then to get some of the fruit of the land. Now this was the time of the first ripe grapes. So they went up and spied the land out from the wilderness of Zin as far as Rehob and Lebo-hamath. Then they came to the valley of Eshcol, and from there cut down a branch with a single cluster of grapes. Look at this. And they carried it on a pole. The grape cluster was so big they couldn't carry it with their hand. They had to carry it on a pole. Carried on a pole between two men with some of the pomegranates and the fig. Man, God is trying to give them more than what they expected. That place was called the Valley of Eshcol because of the clusters which the sons of Israel cut down from there. And when they returned from spying out the land at the end of 40 days, they spent 40 days spying. They proceeded to come to Moses and Aaron and all the congregation of the sons of Israel in the wilderness of Paran and Kadesh. And they brought back word to them, and all the congregation showed them the fruit of the land, that big old grape clusters. And they told them that we went in the land where you sent us, and it certainly does flow with milk and honey, just like God said. God said, "I'm going to send you to a place flowing with milk and honey." And this is the fruit. They showed them big old fruit. Nevertheless, Lord have mercy, the people who live in the land are strong, and the cities are fortified and very large. And moreover, we saw the descendants of Anak there, big folk. Amalek is living in the land of Negev, and the Hittites and Jebusites and the Morasites are all living in the hill country, and the Canaanites are living by the sea and by the side of the Jordan. Then Caleb quieted the people because the people gave a bad report. They told what they saw, and they told it with fear. And of course, anytime folk get to talking fear folk get to talking. It stirs up fear and terror. And also that's how the enemy lives, off terror. Then Caleb quieted. He was one of the 12 that went to spy. Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, "We should by all means go up and take possession of it, for we will surely overcome it." But the men who had gone up with him were not able to go up against the people, for they are too strong for us. So they gave out the sons of Israel a bad report of the land, which they had spied out, saying, "The land through which we have gone in spying it out is a land that devours its inhabitants, and all the people whom we saw in it are men of great size." They ain't seeing me. If I'm spying, that means they didn't see me. So how was I a grasshopper in their sight? You could be a grasshopper in your sight, but how was I a grasshopper in their sight? It was psychological. I need you to understand something. These folk had just watched God part a sea. They had just watched God kill their enemies. He parted the sea, held back their enemies while they walked through the sea on dry land. the water pushed together a wall, and when they walked through it, that would normally make mud, but the ground was dry too. It was a water wall and a dry ground. And they walked through this, and while they're walking, Pharaoh is right on their track, and he kept Pharaoh from them. Kept Pharaoh from them. And when Pharaoh tried to go through the path God made for Israel, the path closed. All right. So these gentlemen had witnessed God do miracles, God do signs, God do wonders. They watched God do some miraculous things. And regardless of everything they saw God do and knew what he was capable of, their experience never translated to a belief system. They took what they learned and didn't learn anything. They had experience with God, but it never made them grow in God. So these folks had the best leader in the history of mankind at the time. And no matter what it was they were taught, they leave out of Egypt with a gold and silver payment. They leave out of Egypt with gold, enough gold to make the tabernacle, enough gold to make the Ark of the Covenant, the mercy seat. They leave out of Egypt paid, blessed. They watched God perform all these plagues on the gods of Egypt. And in spite of every advantage they had, every morning God would let manna fall from the ground, fall from heaven, and go to the ground and give the people exactly what they needed. When they got tired of the manna, quails came up. God, when they were thirsty, God made water come out of a rock. They had every advantage known to man and still didn't believe what God said. The Bible says that the report was a bad report. 10 of the spies, 10 people giving a negative outlook, poisons 1 million people. You didn't hear what I said. 10 people with negativity poisons 1 million people. Lord have mercy. 10 people with a negative report. The Bible calls it an evil report. Why is it evil? They're just telling what they see. The problem is when it comes to the things of God, if what you see doesn't match with what God sees, it's evil. Lord have mercy. They say something opposite of what God just said. God said, I'm going to give this land to you. And so that means he's not going to let them fail. He's not going to let them lose. But in spite of what he said, it never changed how they saw things. That sounds like y'all, don't it? In spite of what was said, they still saw things the exact same way they did when they were slaves. See, ladies and gentlemen, eventually some of the stuff that God has shown you has to have an impact on how you see things. You let negative stuff impact you, but you never let the stuff God's done for you impact you. If somebody dogged you out, and that joker had a yellow shirt on, everybody with yellow on gonna get it. Cause that's the kind of impact they had on you. If that woman had long hair, you gonna find you a short hair woman. Cause I don't want nobody to remind me of that hurt. If that joker had orange glasses or tortoise glasses, he got to have a black glasses. Because we allow negativity to have more impact than what God has already shown us. Ladies and gentlemen, if we are going to grow, we have to take the experiences God has given us and apply them to our faith. So let's look at God's response. I don't know what you have there. Let's look at God's response. What happened? I got to do it manually, I guess. How that come out? Let's see. Ready to go out? All my stuff acting up. My switch acting up too. Can y'all see me pretty good? Y'all see me? I don't know what the hell, man. I do it manually then. Let's do it. Let's see. All right, that's cool. Do it like this. Let's look at what happened. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Let's do it like this, all right? Y'all ready? And go look at this. This is Numbers 14. Once they get the bad report and they talking all that negative talk, then all the congregation lifted up their voices and cried, and the people wept that night. And all the sons of Israel grumbled. They watched it. They talking against God's man. And the whole congregation said to them, would that we had died in the land of Egypt, or that we had died in this wilderness. Lord, they get talking death talk, and they got a bad report. Why is the Lord bringing us into this land to fall by the sword? He bringing us here so we can fail. He ain't God enough to keep us. Our wives and our little ones will become plunder. Would it not be better for us to return to Egypt? So they said to one another, let us appoint a leader. They trying to vote Moses out. Lord have mercy. They try to buck leadership. Let us appoint a leader and return to Egypt. Then Moses and Aaron fell on their face in the presence of the Lord, the presence of the assembly, all the congregation, and the sons of Israel. Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of, and those who had spied out of the land tore their clothes. And they spoke to all the congregations of the sons of Israel, saying, the land which we passed through to spy out is an exceeding good land. They still trying to talk. They still trying to change the folk mind. They still trying to quiet the mess down. They still trying to speak faith to this fear. If the Lord is pleased with us, then he will bring us into this land and give it to us, a land which flows with milk and honey. Only do not rebel against the Lord and do not fear the people of the land. He's saying that by talking like this, you are being rebellious. You are talking against what God just said. For they will be our prey. Their protection has been removed from them, and the Lord is with us. Do not fear them. But all the congregation said to stone them with stone. They're getting ready to fight who trying to help them. Lord, this ain't no smooth transition no more. Let me help you. Part of the challenge with helping people is oftentimes the people you've been called to help are the same folk who will get stones and try to hurt you. And oftentimes you can't take the stones personal. That is one of the most difficult things. I'm talking to real leaders, not y'all fake ones, I'm talking to real ones. If you've been called to help people, you are going to have to learn how not to take stuff personal. Because the people you've been called to deliver will oftentimes keep stones against the very people who've been called to help them. Lord have mercy. All right. All right. Let's keep this moving. Then the glory of the Lord appeared in the tent of meeting to all the sons of Israel. They know God that showed them now. Then the Lord said to Moses, how will this people spurn me? How long will this people spurn me? How long will they not believe in me? Despite all the signs which I have performed in their midst. I done showed them time and time and time again how good I am, how awesome I am, how amazing. You know God done showed you time and time and time again, and you still talk that old crazy talk. It ain't changed your faith experience. You still don't say what God trying to show you. Lord have mercy. Let me show you how upset God is. God says, I'm going to smite them. They deserve to die. I'm going to smite them with a pestilence and dispossess them. And I will make you into a nation greater and mightier than they. I'll kill them and make you some more folk. I'm about to kill these folk because they have irritated. I done showed them all this stuff and they still tripping. But hear what good leadership does. But Moses said to the Lord, then the Egyptians will hear of it. For by your strength you brought up this people from their midst. And they will tell it to the inhabitants of the land that they have heard that you, O Lord, are in the midst of this people. For you, O Lord, are seeing eye to eye while your cloud stands over them. And you go before them in a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. Now you slay this people as one man, that the nations who have heard of your fame will say, because the Lord could not bring this people into the land which he promised them by oath. Therefore he slaughtered them in the wilderness. But now I pray, let the power of the Lord be great, just as you have declared. The Lord is slow to anger and abundant in loving kindness, forgiving you iniquity and transgression. But he will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generations. Pardon, I pray thee. This is what good leadership does. They don't even know how close they're getting ready to die, but a good leader is covering his people. He knows their flaws, and he knows they deserve to die, but Moses is praying for the folk that's getting ready to stone him. I don't know why I'm going here tonight, but this is what anointed leadership looks like. That you don't take their stones personal. You pray for their recovery. He's praying that the folk that will get ready to stone them, that God pardons them. Pardon, I pray, the iniquity of this people according to the greatness of your loving kindness, just as you have also forgiven this people from Egypt, even to now. So then the Lord said, I have pardoned them according to your word. Y'all don't even understand how much you done survived because you had somebody else praying for you. You walk up acting like you made it. You walk up acting like it's you the reason why you here. You the reason why you got stuff. But you don't even understand that somebody was talking to God for your selfish behind. And because they were talking to God for you, you end up making it. Lord have mercy. Let me hurry up. So I pardon them according to your word, but indeed as I live, and all the earth will be filled with the glory of the Lord. Watch this. Surely all the men who have seen my glory, my sign, what I performed in Egypt in the wilderness, you have put me to the test these 10 times. That's he basically said put me to the test a whole lot of times. And you ain't listened to me yet. I done all this for you, and you ain't listened to me yet. Shall by no means see the land which I swore to their fathers, nor shall there any of those who spurned me see it. Lord have mercy. But my servant Caleb, because he has a different spirit, has followed me fully, I will bring him into the land which he entered, and his descendants, and shall take possession of it. All right, let me Let me break this down. Let me put me back up here on the screen. All right, let's break this down and get you up out of here. All right. Here is the challenge tonight, beloved. I hate I had so much to read. I don't want y'all to fall off seeing like some of y'all did. That's cool. They had the best pastor. They had the best teachers. They had the experience. They had everything they needed to win. What they did not have is the mindset. And because they missed it, because every lesson they missed it, hear me well. They missed every lesson that was available in the moment. See, moments are teachers. Lord have mercy. Moments are teachers, and you have to not get so caught up in the moment that you don't learn the lesson from the moment. Every moment has a lesson in it. And they were so busy getting away from Egypt that they missed the lesson. The lesson is our God is able. Ladies and gentlemen, they missed the lesson. They had great leadership. They had a great start. But here was the problem: their mindset. They didn't change how they thought, and none of the experiences they had changed how they thought. You can be, I have experienced this. I have experienced this at my job. I don't care how good you are to people. If they have a crazy mindset, your goodness going to go right out the window. It won't have no impact. I don't care how good you are to people. If they are a taker, they are incapable of being having gratitude. Gratitude is something I have learned is a characteristic. It has to be either in your DNA or it's not. These folk were ungrateful. Lord have mercy. They were ungrateful. God had these folks. They were locked up serving Egypt. God sends a man to deliver them. They get delivered. They're happy until circumstances happen. And now all of a sudden, they're not happy anymore. All of a sudden now they can't get the land. God said, I gave it to you. Caleb is saying that God is going to give us this land. But no matter what it is they got, no matter how many experiences they have, they missed it. And God says, y'all won't get this land. Why does God make it so final? Let's deal with that now. I'll get you out of here. God makes it final because he is not going to waste his time with unteachable people. You have to discern in 2025 who really want what you got to offer. A lot of folk are God is in the presence. He's there. They want his promise and not his person. They want his promise but not his principles. They want his stuff, but they don't want to believe in him. They are lazy. They have the best of everything and still miss the promise. God says, I ain't dealing with folk who I can't teach. I ain't dealing with stiff-necked folk. I ain't dealing with folk who are all in one moment, and in the moment someone don't go their way, they all out. I ain't dealing with them kind of folk. I will give people grace, but I am learning some of y'all just ain't teachable. God said, I'm going to let these folk wander around the wilderness till they die out. because I can't teach them. Maybe I can teach their children. He said, the only people that are going to get the promise from this generation is Aaron, Moses, Joshua, and Caleb. And Aaron and Moses mess it up too. Aaron and Moses let them folk have him so upset it got him out of character. And one moment of him getting out of character made him miss the promised land too. So Joshua and Caleb are the only ones from that generation that made the promised land. Because he is not going to force anybody to get the experience that the situations were supposed to teach you. Hey, we experience glory at ABC all the time. You get taught all the time. Many of you get personal teachings all the time, and yet your neck still stiff. Lord have mercy. You get everything you need. You got the best of everything. The best musicians, the best praise and worship leaders, one of the best praise and worship teams. You get good word. You get good experience. And glory falls all the time. We have some of the most awesome experiences at that church. And yet still, your neck still stiff. You won't turn. You still got a nasty attitude. You still won't listen. You don't see things as God intended for you because you get caught up in the moment, but the moment ain't caught up in you. You need to understand, beloved, that he cuts them off because they ain't teachable. You missed every opportunity. You missed every chance. I done all this stuff for you. And yet still you miss it. That's us. That's us. Wondering why we're wandering around. Now it's a cycle. It's not a season, it's a cycle. Because when you're in a cycle, you see the same thing over and over again. They wandered for 40 years. And he only let that happen so the folks that didn't believe could die out. Lord have mercy. So when we get to Joshua 6, he is talking to these people's children. The difference between them, how much further would they be if the parents had just believed? But now the kids have to waste time going after the parents' promise. Now we're a generation behind. Lord have mercy. We're a generation behind because nobody from the older generation decided I'm going to believe God. So now these folk who didn't have as much slavery on them, who hadn't spent as much time, they grew up in the wilderness. They didn't grow up in Egypt. They grew up in the wilderness. They're led by somebody who grew up in Egypt. But the people who going to actually take possession grew up in the wilderness babies. These are the people who are on the verge of getting ready to get what God has for them. These are, because sometimes God raises up people who are born in the wild, not traditional people. Lord have mercy. Not folk who come from slavery backgrounds, because ultimately they were out of Egypt but couldn't get Egypt out of them. And every time something happened, they threatened to go back. Every time there was an issue, we should just went back to Egypt. Now, you've been praying for 400 years to get out of Egypt, but now you keep crying about going back. This is the people we're getting ready to teach about tonight. I ain't no point in going no further tonight. These are the people. You, ladies and gentlemen, I saw Mr. Black who likes spoiling my stuff. What he said was true. He just didn't give me a chance to say it. Ladies and gentlemen, the truth of the matter is, I put it up. The truth of the matter is, what he said is exactly what I was getting ready to say. Everybody need to pray God, because unlike them, we still got opportunity. We done missed opportunities. We got great leadership. We got great everything. And God has the right to kill us and make us miss our promise. But yet here we are, still alive, with another opportunity. But we'll get the same results if we don't change. If you don't change, you'll be here, but you'll leave the promise for your children. You got time. You are the Joshua generation. We are in the Joshua generation, the radical generation. Joshua moves completely different from Moses. He doesn't move the same way as Moses. He moves completely different. Moses was a prayer. Joshua was a warrior. The style is different, but the goal is the same. This generation was completely different than the other generation. But what made them get it was not their method. What made them get it was their faith. They believed God. You got a chance. All you got to do is believe Him. If you would just believe Him, if you would stop looking at everything else that's going on and just hear His word and apply it to your life, if you would hear what God is saying and apply it to your life, when glory falls, we see folk, man, we done had so many folk come to the church and experience the glory of God, and they're fine with having that moment. They cry, they snot, they fall out, they pass out, whatever it is you do, whatever response it is, and then it had no impact on their life. It impacted them that moment. Why? What impact does it have on your life? How do you apply this lesson to your life? Or the first time something happened, we're going to just leave and go back to Egypt. The first time something happened, leaving or ended it or running away is your first thing. That shows your immaturity. That shows you how uncommitted to God you are. Ladies and gentlemen, you got a chance. You got a chance. But you got to believe God. You have to take these moments and apply it to your life. And when stuff get hard, you remember He is the God that rolls the Red Sea. When my back gets against the wall, He is the God let me walk on dry land. When folks start coming against me, He is the same God that held Pharaoh from coming through the Red Sea. He is the same God that killed my enemy. I have to remember stuff. He's the same God that got me out of prison. He's the same God that wakes me up every morning. He's the same God that delivered me, that has blessed me in spite of me. He's that God. He's that God that who has made a way time and time again. He's the same God that healed my child of cancer. He's the same God that made my boy who couldn't talk. That's the God that made my child have a heart surgery on Thursday. And I got to tell her to sit down on Friday because she's running around too much. It's that God. You got to take these experiences and apply them to your life where you won't miss it. Because if you don't hold on, and you got to hold on to it, well, you start saying what he's saying, and you start seeing what he's seeing. He calls a report an evil report, not because it was evil not because it was evil like the devil said something. It was an evil report because it was the opposite of what he said. I don't want to keep speaking these crazy reports. I don't want you to keep doing it. I want you blessed. I want you blessed. My job is to usher you to where God can bless you. But we got to get to a point where we say what God says and see it how he see it. And if we don't see it how we see it, how he see it, we should shut our mouths until we do. But look at all the damage that got caused because these folk, 10 folk were talking that negative talk. 10 folk were talking that fear talk. They ignored the grapes and saw the giants and forgot that God was bigger than them giants. We'll shout next week. They forgot that God was bigger than them giants. And because they was moved by fear, they talked that fear talk. And if you want to kill anything, start talking against what God said. Because stuff don't make sense to you. Because you don't agree. Because you don't like it. Lord have mercy. Lord, rid me of a 10-spy spirit. Give me some Joshuas and Calebs in my life. When everybody talking crazy, Joshua and Caleb still saying, we're well able to take this land. We can do it. Why can we do it? Because the Lord with us. If we going to get it, it's because he with us. If we ain't going to get it, it's going to be because he ain't. The Lord's with us. All right? All right, man, let me find this. I got to do this manually tonight. You sure late? I don't like this. I got a little switch over here. I know I'm telling you, it went completely out on me while I was going my live. I don't know what happened to it. So I got to go over here and find these buttons now. Anyway, they found. I pray you got something out of the night. I pray that God bless you some kind of way. These experiences. I had one of y'all today call me with a praise report. Apply that to your life. When stuff get to going crazy, I'm dealing with some stuff right now, man. I got to believe God. I got to remember who he is. What's the point of him doing all he's done in my life if I don't remember who he is? You got to apply it. You got to take it and you got to do it. It ain't going to just happen. You got to do it. That's right. He with you. He with you. That's right. So give something tonight. Sow something tonight. Amen. Somebody sow something tonight. You can sow through Givelify. You can sow through Antioch. Cash App, which is Antioch, with ABC we died with. All right. Listen, I love you. My name is Steinway Cash. I am the pastor of the Antioch Baptist Church in the great city we died with. We are reaching the lost, teaching the found, building the kingdom of God. God bless you.